I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Brother Leroy Moore back again here at the well, I Mix What I Like live. I think last time you were here, Brother Moore, you were joining us on the Remix Morning Show. But just a quick reintroduction, among many other things. Leroy Moore works with the good folks at Poor Magazine and our comrade and sister Lisa Tiny Gray Garcia, who was just on the program the other day. He is a founder of Krip-Hop Nation and focuses on advocacy, activism, and education. Holds workshops in relevant social, artistic, political issues, campaigning for equality for people with disabilities worldwide. He hosts concerts, tours, workshops, and much more. And he has just published a recent piece in the legendary San Francisco Bayview paper titled, as we will show it here, just this moment, an article, from Leroy Moore, Dear Black Community. So, Brother Moore, welcome back to the program. It's good to see you. And let's get right into it with you and telling us what it is you're saying here.
Well, let me just
Black community. Go ahead. Go ahead,
let me just welcome my brother by saying,
well, first of all, happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you.
You turned what, 70, right?
Yeah, 70 and looking strong. I'm
saying, man.
Yeah, black don't crack. I'm telling
Black
you.
don't crack and beige don't fade. That's what I keep trying to tell them.
So yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm telling you, you and the big newspaper are the only two black media that really talks about black disability issues from a radical standpoint. So thank you for continuing supporting my work. So that dear letter is a continuation because it started in 1979, people. So me and two other black disabled boys, we were friends back then. We decided to do another campaign, and this was before computers. Can you believe it? Yeah, it's called A Pencil and a Paper. What is that? So we stayed in my room for like a month and wrote everybody from the NAACP, Urban League, Jesse Jackson, Oprah was on TV at the time, wrote everybody about where's black disabled people, you know? We didn't see nothing, we didn't read nothing, there's nothing out there. And we got back 4 letters saying there's nothing out there. Now these letters are coming from people with Ph.D s. So that letter was in 1979. The letter I just published just came out last week. Has things changed? I don't think so. We're in 2021, and still, where is black disabled people? Where is black disabled people in radical conversations? Not there. Where is black disabled people in NAACP? Not there. So once again, I asked this question at age 53. Where is black disabled people? So that dear letter is once again a continuation of really putting it in the faces of the black community. Because I'm 53. I'm out the door. I'm almost out the door.
Oh
So
no,
what?
no, 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 no. You know, no, that's just still
I was gonna
young at
say it's a
53.
little
Don't
early. I
don't
was
don't
gonna
say that.
say,
Don't say
man.
that, man. We right around, we knocking on the door, brother. Don't be
That's what I was gonna
saying
say.
that.
I just hit 50. You talking about you wrapping up at 53? I was like,
Come
hold
on,
up,
man.
man.
I got 5 years to get to you, man. Hold on.
Right. Hold up, man.
No, I'm just tired, man. I'm tired. I've been doing this work since 1979 when I was a little boy. I'm tired, dude. I'm tired. So yeah. So the letter is saying, am I gonna pass this on to my nieces and nephews? Are they gonna write a letter on the computer saying, "Dear Black community"? So without just putting it out there and putting it on everybody else's shoulders, Krip-Hop Nation is in the process of building what we call a Krip-Hop Institute. Now, this Krip-Hop Institute is going to be a 4-5-4 building where the community, especially the Black community, can come into this Krip-Hop Institute, learn about Black disabled history, learn about hip hop and disability. We're gonna have a visual art for because Krip-Hop has been paying visual artists from around the world to do pieces. We have pieces from Brazil, on Uganda, all around the U.S. We're gonna have the library, so I'm trying to leave an institution. We've talked, we've done letters, we protest. Now it's time to leave an institution where Black disabled boys growing up can say, yeah, I can go to the Krip-Hop Institute and I can read about Da Vinci and Jesse Washington or, Al Hitler, the jazz singer that protest with Martin Luther King. So these are the stories that need to be left for Black disabled people and their parents and internationally to learn about the stories and to learn about our history. So the idea letter is this a letter, but we're going to put some foundation to that letter in a couple of years.
So what? So just as I guess this would be another recap, but so because I know you talk about Black ableism in the letter, and so it is just something that is because I have to admit, in the years that I've been around activists and organizational work, this issue has not come up as
Exactly.
it. I mean, it just doesn't come up either.
Exactly.
Either folks with disabilities show up at our meetings and work with us, or they don't. And when they don't, there was never a question of, is there something we're not doing, or is there something we are doing that's preventing folks with disabilities from showing up, but or who are said to have disabilities from showing up. But anyway, so I mean, this is just something that is unconsciously occurring, that is keeping people away, or I mean, and what are some steps towards rectifying this?
Yeah, I think what happened is that the Black community is so far behind on disability compared to the white community. There's racism everywhere. All kinds of movement has racism. And the disability community had racism from the start. So from the start, from the 70s, where we had laws on the books, from the Individual Disability Act that dealt with education to the Rehabilitation Act that dealt with, federal programs to the Americans with Disability Act in 1990 that George Bush, #1, signed. All these acts, all these laws benefited the community, but really benefited white disabled community. So you see white disabled people going to college, going to school, And you see black boys, black girls with disabilities in special education getting no kind of services, no kind of love. So because of that, that happened throughout the decades.
Hold on, Leroy.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I understand what you were saying correctly. So you're saying that white students with disabilities are basically moved to, quote unquote, classes where able people are, whereas blacks with disabilities, even if they're just physical disabilities, are put in special ed classes?
Yeah, I mean, come on, we've seen this as studies come out since the 80s. It's nothing new. Black boys, black girls.
Despite their academic ability, like if they could be.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my mother sued the East Hartford, Connecticut School Board in 1973, and this is before the law, to get me out of special education, to get me quote unquote mainstream. So that was my mother in 1973, I think. Yeah. So wondering if your families don't have an advocate like my mother, then you just, sit in special education all your life. And as we know, special education is right, the doorway to prison. So you have the school, the prison pipeline. But once again, no black scholars talk about that when they talk about disability. No black scholars talk about the school to prison pipeline for black disabled boys and girls. Even in the New Jim Crow, I love that book. Well, once again, disability is left out. So this continues to happen, and because it continues to happen, black disabled people get left behind constantly over and over again. So now we have, in 2021, we have this new inclusionary, movement going on, which is a joke, because we've been here since Moses. If you know your history, Moses had a disability. So this including policy is really a joke because it's called the law. It's called, you guys had to do this since the 70s. So you guys are just waking up, Joe Biden just woke up in his campaign. It's like, oh, we're going to fully fund IDEA, the Individual Disability Act. That act hasn't been fully funded since it passed in 1973, I think 75. That's huge. So you're talking about an education act that hasn't been fully funded and that hasn't been fully implemented. That affects black disabled girls and boys. So Joe Biden just woke up 4 years ago and it's like, oh, I'm going to fully fund the IDA. It's like, dude, you've been in office for how many decades? You just woke up to that? So once again, going back to the black community, Jared Wall, that's why you don't see our issues in there. With this all police brutality, movement going on, I've been in the forefront of police brutality since Eleanor Bumpers in New York. That's what, 83? I think Eleanor Bumpers had a disability. So, we see October 22nd come along, we see Black Lives Matter come along, we see all these movements, but nobody's talking about the highest portion of police shootings are people with disabilities, especially black disabled men. And that wasn't on anybody's lips during the BLM, during this whole protest. It's like, so once again, our issues are not there. From special education to police brutality. So yeah. So I can go on and on, but that's why we, the black community, for Black disabled people, Black community, it's almost, it's hard to say, but it's useless. Because Black disabled people, especially their parents, have to go outside the Black community to get services. And once you get older with a disability, you have to go outside the Black community just to hold your true identities as a disabled Black man, as a disabled Black woman, because the Black community doesn't recognize disability. That's why you see a lot of Black disabled people working in these white nonprofits, disabled organizations, because they can't do that in the Black community.
But I mean, isn't that? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna follow up on that point about outreach in the Black community, because just yesterday I think we had a conversation about they kind of touched on it yesterday. The Black people with disability, well, just disabled people generally. And there was a conversation around just engagement, just in general. And I know the conversation was more around unsolicited help for people. But I do think that sometimes there's a communications issue in terms of just outreach, just in general, or when it comes to people who are differently abled. What are some ways that you think we can, as a larger Black community, engage people in the Black people who are disabled? Are there organizations? Are there places where we can go to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's organizations. There's a National Black Disability Coalition, that's run by Jane Dunham in North Carolina. There's the Harry Tubman Coalition. They do work on the internet. You can hook them up with Facebook. There's Krip-Hop, what I'm doing. Keith Jones has his own organization. He ran for president. He was independent. Black disabled man ran for president. So, these organizations are out there. But once again, we're dealing with decades and decades of big nonprofits that have all the connections and that have all the funding. So once again, that's why a lot of Black disabled movements from South Africa to London to the Bay Area don't last, because one is a lack of structure, and two is a lack of funding. All of the funding goes to these white big nonprofits, disabled nonprofits. Even in today's inclusionary policy and movements, most of that is going to white disabled women. It's just amazing how it continues to happen. And now it's just amazing, because now we have a new word called inclusionary positions. It's the same thing as outreach. I mean, my dad's like, this is the same cycle. My dad was an outreach person. It's the same term, but different twist to it. And that twist is getting a lot of white disabled people more money and more, media bling. That's why I love Daryl Balls, and I love what you guys are doing, because you guys really contact people like me that's really going to say shit that people don't want to hear. So check this out. I just got an invite to like NBC and CBS, because all these media people are dealing with inclusionary, right? So they want me to be, they give them advice. They said, we'll pay you $100. $100 is NBC. It's like,
To do what? To come on and be interviewed?
PhD. I almost got my PhD. Krip-Hop just won an Emmy, and you're gonna give me $100? I was like, wow.
Wow. But I mean, yeah.
But you did ask him, Dr. Ball. What did they ask you to come on to do, Leroy?
Well, this MDC is, because like I said, this inclusionary policy is like blowing up. So, the media, tech people, a couple months ago, all the tech people were in like DM. We did presentations on Google to Twitter to all these tech people. And check this out, Amazon. We just did a presentation on Amazon. They turned around and gave Goodwill $2.3 million. Goodwill is the worst employee of people with disabilities. They still have sheltered workshops. And we just did a presentation with them. So that tells you how this inclusionary policy is a bunch of window dressing BS.
Well, we talked about it the other day, and I just showed I just showed the clip we used on one of these shows recently to my class yesterday, that that a lot of what you're describing sounds like an offshoot of the Larry Fink and BlackRock investment strategy, and inducement to people who want his investment money to get to I forgot what the rubric is called, but there's a like an environmental, socially conscious grade now that companies are given by people by these huge investment firms like BlackRock and Larry Fink, who tell them so that they can get their own image cleaned up. Who tell them, if you want our investment money, you need to get your score on environment and social justice issues up. So of course there's going to be a number of them coming after you and others saying, let's get them on for a presentation, because if we show some folks with disabilities and do something with Krip-Hop, then we can turn around to BlackRock and say our grade has gone up and get more investment money and investment capital from these major.
They met their quota.
They met their quota.
Exactly.
It's deep.
For a presentation, though, for an hour presentation, I said this on Facebook. All of them were on my DM. After the presentation, all of them left. Nobody stuck around and like, okay, Krip-Hop, let's go deeper. Let's partnership. Let's go deeper. I have to say, and I'm going to be public about it, that Warner Music Group, the only group that's going deeper with Krip-Hop. They say, no, let's go deeper. That's the only group, Krip-Hop, that's been here for 14 years. The only group that wants to go deeper with us, and it just happened, is the Warner Music Group. Everybody wants us one-off. Oh, Leroy, can you come and do a talk here? Can you come and do a talk here?
Well, So look, man, I don't want to. Honestly, I don't even know what to say.
I know,
and I don't, and honestly don't even know what to do, Leroy. I'm serious, man. Like, go ahead.
The thing, Gerald, is that you're doing it. You invited me in twice. That is more than all the Black media combined. You in the San Francisco Bay View. I'm 53 years old. I've never been on BET. I've never been on these Black, national stages. So you guys are doing it.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that you appreciate that, but I mean, and it's sort of a bare minimum for what we're here to do. And in fact, we need to revisit that conversation about you joining the platform. We got to get back to that. Like, you should have a Krip-Hop Nation show on the platform.
We do this really high. It's called Black Disablement Talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, we've been doing it for 2 years on SSI dollars. And we cover issues that nobody wants to cover. We're about to have an African talk this Monday with black disabled men from Uganda and the Congo in Nigeria. I mean, nobody's doing that on YouTube. Nobody's doing that. And we're doing it with Otis Smith, Keith Jones, and Lakeith McLeod. All of us have been activists since we were 5 years old. We're in our 40s, you know. Lakeith McLeod is going for his Ph.D. I'm going for my Ph.D. Keith Jones has run for president. Keith Jones has wrote federal policy that's helped black disabled people. He wrote federal policy. So these are the people that I hang out with. But of course, mainstream media don't want to go that deep.
Right on, right on. Hey, listen, we're always here to support you, and we will definitely keep in touch and continue to follow the work. And I definitely would like to. So, when is this discussion you're having? This Pan African disabled men discussion taking place? You said it's taking place Monday, and will it be? Is it going to be live Monday?
No. What we do, because we were doing this on SSI dollars. So what we do is that we tape it first, and then we put it up on our Patreon page and YouTube and all that stuff. So we're going to tape it on Monday, and hopefully it'll be up by the end of the week. We have to get it, accessible with captions and all that stuff.
Right on. All right. Well, we will certainly share the link. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I want to ask real quick, because you mentioned, because I know nothing happens in a vacuum. There's always an impetus for something, for everything. And you mentioned early, just before you go, your mother and her advocacy, and I would have to imagine that had a tremendous impact on you and what you're doing right now. So could you talk just a little bit more about her and the impact that she has on the work that you're doing right now?
Yeah, my mom kicked down doors, for me, being a black disabled man and a black disabled boy, she had to. So, like I said, she sued the school board in Connecticut. She introduced me to my role model, a black disabled woman that was in charge of the nonprofit. And I joined that nonprofit when I was a teenager. I worked at a summer camp. I went to the Paralympics. I was a Paralympic athlete in Seoul, Korea. All that happened because of my mom. So my mom got me in contact with people that look like me, people that are black and disabled. My mom put me in front of the TV. I saw Porgy and Bess. That's the first time I saw a black disabled man on TV. I was freaking out. This was like 1980. I was like, I'm on TV, Mom. That's the first time I saw a black disabled man on TV. So my mom knew that she had to get me, knowledge about my history. She talked about Al Hitler, blind jazz man that marched with Martin Luther King. So she knew that, that she had to educate me around black disability issues. And I hope mothers today do the same thing with their sons and daughters, because if you don't do that, they seem like they're all alone. They want to overcome. You can't overcome. That's so stupid. It's like overcoming your race. I mean, come on, people. How can you overcome an identity? You have to be politically with your identity. Radically and politically with your identity. If we're radical and politically about socially radical and politically while being disabled. Talking about Harriet Tubman. I interviewed the blind boys of Alabama in the 90s, and they told me stories about growing up in Jim Crow as a black blind boy. So these are the stories that need to come out.
Yeah, right on. Absolutely. Again, I appreciate your work, man, and we want to continue to work with you and support it as best we can. And we'll definitely put the links to your work in the show description when this clip goes up. And if there's if there is ever at any time something we can do to be of some help, just continue to let us know.
Yeah, once again, happy birthday, Paul.
No, I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. But 53 can't be the end if 50 is just the beginning for me. So
yeah, I think like Keith Jones says, it's the end of bullshit. I'm not gonna do the same thing that I've been doing since the 80s. It's time to grow. That's why it's time to leave an institution and organization. I did the protests, I did the letter writing, I did all that. So it's time to move on and time to do different things. Yeah.
Right on. Well, as long as you keep swinging, we don't mind you taking a different approach. And appreciate you, man. And like I said, Leroy Moore, Krip-Hop Nation, Poor Magazine, etc. and so forth. Thank you again, and peace to you, man, because we know you're gonna keep fighting for it.
Yeah, and send out some prayers. I've been doing this Ph.D. thing. It's, oh my God, it's off the wall.
I will.
I don't know how you do it, Gerald, but it's off the wall. This is my first.
I mean, it was a struggle. What the quick advice I always give is remember your dissertation is not your magnum opus. Just get it done, and don't take any breaks. Just keep fighting through. But yeah, it is a struggle. It's a struggle that not a lot of people appreciate either. So I definitely understand, and good luck, man. Hang in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, my man. Take care, everybody. We'll be back in a second. Yeah, peace, man. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I